Welcome back to WesPreGame. As I mentioned before, I'm joined now with Grace and Danielle, the women's squash team. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So you guys are both captains, your housemates, presumably your friends. How has your relationship, impacted your squash playing over the past 4 years?
Well, I'll tell you, Kate, it started in 8th grade when we met and we hated each other. So it's been quite an evolution. I think hopefully our squash has progressed to parallel our friendship. But I mean, it's been an absolute delight being Danielle's friend, teammate, and co-captain.
Well, tell me about the shift from hating each other in 8th grade to being best friends now.
We went to the same squash camp the summer before 9th grade, and squash is a very small community. Not a lot of people play, and the ones that do are just central along New England, along the coast. So we went to a camp together. Grace was there with another friend of hers. I went solo. So Grace and her friend Kendall stayed close for most of the camp, and then we didn't really stay in touch until we showed up at Wesleyan in Shona's office, our coach. This happened to come the same weekend for our recruiting visit, and I was leaving Shona's office and leaving for the interview, and Grace was going in, and we kind of did like a what? And we sort of stayed cordial until because we were at that point competing for a spot to get into Wesleyan, and Shona luckily took both of us. So when we found out we were both going to Wesleyan, then we started being more friendly to each other, and it worked out pretty well.
So you've mentioned the small squash community. What's that community like here at Wesleyan? I know you have a small squad.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you didn't.
No, I mean, I think unlike any other sport, maybe besides tennis or golf, or a few that come to mind, squash is unique in the size of the squad. So we have a squad of 15 this year, 9 play. So when I say you get to know these people, I mean, I know what these girls think. I know what their parents' names are. I know their sisters' names. I know what gives them indigestion. I mean, it gets really, those quarters are close, especially on our spring training trip, which I think Jeff mentioned. And on the flip side of that, you also get the chance to be really close with individuals and then watch them succeed and watch them fall and have that intimate relationship. So while there are times it can be trying, it's also really gratifying. So,
yeah.
And as seniors, do you feel like you're facilitating a lot of that, social interaction beyond the courts?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're housemates, so people are over at our house a lot. We have a couple other seniors on the team, and they share the load in that regard. We have a lot of team potlucks, team dinner every night before a match. We always try and go to the men's matches as often as possible. We usually do dual matches, but when we don't, we're always there supporting them. So it's great. I mean, it's a small squad, so we're not overpowering in the sense that we're not always together. We all have our own individual interests on campus. The girls on our team are incredibly talented in a number of different ways. One of them is in a band. A lot of them are pre-med. So a couple are writing theses. So, I mean, everyone branches off when there's too much team time, but at the same time, we're really close, which is great.
yeah, it's nice, too, because we only graduated 1 senior, and we got 2 freshmen, which was awesome. We love them. But everyone was already really comfortable with each other for the most part.
Yeah.
And so what do you think has been one of the highlights of your last season?
Couple. I think if you were to ask what our rival was, it wouldn't be one of the little 3, but it'd be Bowdoin. Ever since we've been here for 4 years, it's been a 5-4 match with them, and I think we've split pretty much in our record. It's either they win, we win, they win, we win, they win, we win. So we beat them at NESCACs. They beat us earlier this season by 5-4, which shouldn't have happened, and then we came back at NESCACs and beat them 5-4, which allowed us to have the top seed going into our division at Nationals, which is great. So that was a huge highlight for us. Another one that I would say is beating Mount Holyoke, who's a team that we haven't beaten in 11 years, I think.
That was huge.
That was huge. And that was right before spring. That was right before winter break, and that was without our number 1, who, like Jeff, was abroad. So we beat them by 7-2. That was an incredible match. Like I said, we haven't beaten them in 11 years. And then the best part about beating them and playing Mount Holyoke was then the ability to beat them again later in the season. Yeah. So we got to beat them twice in 1 season, which was pretty awesome.
And looking back at your entire 4 years, is there anything else you want to add, things you're going to, think about when you remember Wesleyan oh so fondly?
Sure. I mean, the weird thing about playing squash, as I said, is it's a really small community. I mean, Danielle and I met when we were in 8th grade. Mm-hmm. What are the odds that we would end up at the same school, roommates, and then on the same team? So when we say we played Bowdoin 3 times, we know everyone on the Bowdoin squad. I know them by name. I know what kind of shots they hit. I know if I like them or not. I mean, you're in this little tiny box with one person for 30 minutes. You have to behave cordially, but you also want to win. So what I'm taking away most from my experience is just feeling really plugged into a community that's actually bigger than Wesleyan, knowing a lot of individuals who are all going to the same cities next year, who all want to do kind of similar things, and are all looking to stay in touch. So That I think is a really gratifying thing, to have that competitive edge and be able to balance it with a sense of a community.
And who might be our teammates later on, because
Yeah,
there's a
who
ton
knows?
of leagues, especially I'm hoping to be in New York next year. There's tons of squash leagues and sort of just like extra sort of, after work teams that train together. And, I think at this point maybe going to be on a team with an Amherst girl that we're both
Yeah.
close to. So it's weird. They're competitors, but we know them by name, like you said. We know their parents. Like it's an odd dynamic being the only player on a court and not being able to slap your teammates high fives after winning points and having it be just you and just this girl. And there's something really unique and really raw about that. That's weird for squash, and especially when I've played some psychos in the past, and when you play a psycho, it makes it even harder, and you get some great stories out of it.
Yeah,
Do you find that tension between playing an individual game but being on a team difficult to navigate, or is it something that just comes naturally?
It's hard. I mean, there's no benched players. Like I said, the top 9 play, the 10 is an exhibition match. And especially those 10, which count towards the record of the match and the outcome of the match, not a single one of us can have an off day. Like, you show up every practice, you show up every match, and you can't just say, oh, well, if today I'm not doing my best, if I'm not hitting the shots right, coach will just put me out, I'll be benched, and someone else who's ready to go in will go in, because you have to play. So even though the downside of not being able to kind of have the camaraderie of sharing in the joys and upsets of the match as it goes, and only being able to share afterwards when you step off court is the downside. The upside of that is that every single individual gets out there and has very clear goals, and the number 1 is just as important as the number 4, because each of those players, while the skill is maybe a little bit different, is a win or a lose towards the team. And if it's a 5-4 match, then if you didn't win, it's really hard not to feel like it's your fault, because if you had won, it would have switched. So.
Yeah, it's also really weird, because you can play the match of your life and go to 5 and have it be 13-15 and win, down to the wire, squash beat, that match set up right there. And your team can still lose. And the reverse can happen as well. You can lose and everybody else on your team can win. I had the unique opportunity for one weekend to play one, which was incredible because our number 1 was abroad. And it was a great experience, but I was the one that was always losing. And that's a difficult thing to navigate, because I was so excited for my team and I was so proud of the 8 individuals that won, but I was so disappointed in how I performed. So it gets tricky. I mean, it does. And I think our team especially, and I think the men as well, do a really good job of rising above the individual challenges and being excited for the group, or being, disappointed for the group. And I think that's what I'm personally proud of for our squad for being able to do. Because it's hard, it's really hard.
So I'm curious, Danielle, you said you might play squash after Wesleyan. Grace, are you maybe looking to do the same thing?
Oh, yeah. I have no idea where I'm going to be. I don't even know what I want to do. But
And how easy is, you say the squash community is small, but it seems like people love it so much. There's so many opportunities for you guys to get out there.
Yeah, there's, a lot of clubs, sort of athletic clubs especially mostly big cities on the East Coast. Other than that, unless you're at Stanford, there's not that much squash besides Arizona, where we happen to go. But have clubs, have courts, and you can join. The great thing about squash is because it's a small community, you can just really get on court with anyone and just, hey, want to hit. My dad's girlfriend's son is a squash player. He went to Hamilton, and he got on court with Amanda Sobey, who's the number 1 junior world champion. She's now the number 1 at Harvard as a sophomore, has not lost a match. I don't think she's lost a game in her 2 years as a college player. And just happened to be the same club the same day and said, hey, you want to play a game? And she was like, yeah, sure, of course, why not? And he's like, great, I think I can beat this girl. And then got smoked. But it's it's nice. You can just, it's a really tight-knit community. You can just get on court with anyone. If you've got the opportunity to have a court, there's always someone looking to play a match.
What is it that keeps you guys going back to the court? What do you love about the sport?
oh my, it's so much fun. You have to try it. You just have to try it. What I also love about playing squash at Wesleyan is going down to the court anytime besides 4-7, seeing the baseball team there, the lacrosse team there, like wrestlers there. Yeah, it is just crazy how people have really invested themselves in the sport and picked it up. And so that's really fun for me, because it's just fun. I don't think people play sports for a lot of reasons, but squash is fun.
Well, maybe I'll be switching up my usual gym routine now.
Kate, my racket is yours. Seriously. It is a blast. So.
And thank you guys so much for being on the show. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, well, congratulations, John. You guys still did really well this season.
Yeah, we killed it.
So, yeah.
It was awesome. Did really well.
Thanks for being here. I'll be joined in a few minutes by